Hey everyone, welcome back to Personal Growth Talks podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Today, we're talking about something we all feel at some point: fear of failure.
Yes, it's that little voice in our head that says, what if I'm not good enough? Or what if I try and it goes wrong?
Right. Fear of failure can stop people from trying new things, like starting a business, learning a new skill, or even speaking up in a meeting.
Or for many of our listeners, it might be fear of speaking English, right?
Exactly. You're afraid you'll make mistakes, so maybe you don't speak at all. But here's the truth: we all make mistakes.
Yes, even native speakers. But still, the fear feels very real. Why is that?
Well, I think it starts when we're young. We learn that mistakes are bad. In school, if we fail a test, we feel embarrassed. So, we start to believe that failing means we're not good enough.
And society often tells us we have to be perfect. Social media doesn't help. It shows everyone's best moments, not their failures.
That's true, but the problem is, when we're afraid to fail, we stop ourselves from growing.
Yes, fear becomes a wall that blocks us from our dreams.
So today, we're going to break down that wall, step by step. We'll talk about where this fear comes from, how it affects us, and most importantly, how to overcome it.
And we'll share some real-life stories too, so you know you are not alone in this.
Let's do this together. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's help our listeners face that fear with courage.
All right. So we talked about how fear of failure feels. But let's go a little deeper. What is fear of failure, really?
Good question. Fear of failure is not just being afraid. It's the strong feeling that if we fail, something bad will happen. Maybe we'll feel ashamed, or people will laugh, or we'll lose something important.
Yes, it's not just about the failure itself. It's about what we think failure means about us.
Exactly. Many people think if I fail, it means I'm a loser, but that's not true at all.
Right. Failure doesn't mean you're bad. It just means something didn't work. That's all.
Let me give an example. Imagine a child learning to ride a bike. They fall many times, but we don't say, you're a failure. We say, get up and try again.
Yes. But when we become adults, we stop thinking like that. We think we have to be perfect on the first try.
And that's where the fear starts. We don't want to look stupid, we don't want to feel pain, so we stop trying new things.
Some of this fear also comes from our past. Maybe we failed before, and someone made fun of us. That memory stays with us.
Yes, or maybe our parents or teachers were very strict. So we grew up thinking failure is something to avoid at all costs.
But the truth is, failure is normal. Everyone fails. And people who succeed the most usually failed the most too.
That's powerful. So fear of failure is really a fear of feeling pain, shame, or being judged.
Exactly. But it's all in the mind. It's a story we tell ourselves.
And the good news is, we can change that story.
Yes, we can. And that's what we'll keep exploring today: how to change your mindset and face failure with confidence.
So to our listeners, don't worry. If you feel this fear, you're not weak. You're human.
That's right. And being human means we can learn and grow, even from failure. So now that we understand what fear of failure really is, let's talk about how it affects our life.
Yes, fear of failure can really hold us back in so many ways, even if we don't always notice it.
For example, have you ever wanted to start something new, a business, a course, or even a relationship, but stopped because you thought, what if I fail?
Oh yes, many times. I remember I wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I was scared. I thought, what if nobody watches? What if I look silly? So I didn't start for 2 years.
Wow, 2 years! And I'm sure many of our listeners feel the same way. Fear of failure causes procrastination. We keep waiting and waiting, and never take action.
Exactly. And it also creates low confidence. We begin to doubt ourselves even before we try.
Yes, and when we don't try, we miss opportunities. We don't grow, we don't learn, and we start to feel stuck.
Another thing is, it affects our mental health. Fear can make us feel anxious, nervous, and even sad.
True, it's like carrying a heavy bag on your back every day. You can't move freely.
And sometimes, fear of failure can stop people from doing simple things, like speaking English in front of others.
That's a big one. Many people understand English, but they don't speak because they're afraid of making mistakes.
But here's the thing, mistakes are how we learn. If we don't speak, we don't grow.
So true. Fear of failure doesn't just stop big dreams, it also blocks daily progress.
Right. So, if we want to grow in life, in language, in relationships, we have to face that fear.
It's okay to be afraid, but don't let fear make your decisions.
Yes, you can feel the fear and still move forward.
Exactly. And the more you take small steps, the less power fear will have over your life.
So, to everyone listening, think about this. What is one thing you didn't do because you were afraid to fail?
And what could change in your life if you just gave yourself permission to try? So, Julia, we've talked about how fear of failure can stop us from living our best life. But now, let's flip the idea.
Yes, because here's the truth. Failure is not the end. It's part of the journey to success.
Absolutely. In fact, many successful people failed a lot before they made it.
Do you have an example, Jason?
Sure. Let's take Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever. Did you know he was cut from his high school basketball team?
No way, that's hard to believe.
Yep, but he didn't give up. He trained harder. He used that failure to push himself. And now, he's a legend.
Wow, that's inspiring. I also read about J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She was rejected by 12 publishers before someone finally said yes.
12 times. Imagine if she stopped after the first rejection.
We would have never had Harry Potter.
Exactly. These stories show that failure is not something to be afraid of. It's actually a step forward.
Yes, every time we fail, we learn something new. We get stronger, we grow.
Let me share a personal story. Years ago, I started a small business. I put a lot of time and money into it, but it failed.
Oh no, that must have been tough.
It was. I felt sad and even embarrassed. But after a while, I looked back and saw how much I had learned. From marketing, managing money, talking to customers, everything.
So that failure gave you skills and experience?
Exactly. And the next time I started something, I was smarter, more prepared. That's the gift of failure. It teaches you what works and what doesn't.
That's such a powerful message. I failed too. I remember forgetting my lines in a live event. I wanted to quit after that.
But you didn't.
No, I practiced more. I learned how to calm myself down. And now, I speak with confidence. That failure helped me grow.
So, listeners, remember this. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success.
Yes, every great story has moments of failure. It's what you do after the failure that makes the difference.
So don't fear failure. Welcome it. Learn from it. Use it as fuel.
Because each failure is just a lesson on your way to success.
So far, we've talked about what fear of failure is and why it's part of success. Now, let's look at something important. The signs that show you might be afraid to fail.
Yes, because sometimes we don't even realize it. We just say, I'll do it later, or it's not the right time, but deep inside, it's really fear holding us back.
Exactly. One common sign is procrastination, when you keep delaying things over and over again.
Like saying you'll start studying English tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes.
Right. You keep waiting for the perfect time, but it never feels perfect, so you never start.
Another sign is perfectionism. This means you don't want to do something unless it's perfect.
Yes, and the problem with perfectionism is you never feel good enough, so you don't finish anything.
Here's another one. Avoiding new challenges. You stick with what's safe because you don't want to make mistakes.
That's a big one. You might say no to a new job or avoid speaking in English class just because you're afraid to mess up.
And sometimes people even talk themselves down. They say things like, I can't do this or I'm not smart enough.
Yes, that's called negative self-talk, and it's a strong sign of fear. Yes, that's called negative self-talk, and it's a strong sign of fear.
Let's quickly list the signs for our listeners. Procrastination, perfectionism, avoiding new things, negative self-talk, fear of being judged.
And if you recognize any of these in yourself, it's okay. You're not alone.
The important thing is to notice them and understand why they happen. That's the first step to change.
Yes, once you see the signs, you can start facing them with courage.
And remember, being afraid doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human.
All right, so we've talked about the signs of fear. Now, let's move into something powerful. How to shift your mindset from fear to growth. Totally agree. Have you heard of the growth mindset?
Yes, it's the belief that your skills and abilities can grow with time and effort. You're not stuck with what you have.
Exactly. On the other hand, a fixed mindset says, I'm either good at it or I'm not. That's what keeps people afraid to try.
Let's give an example. Imagine someone who says, I'm bad at English. I'll never learn it. That's a fixed mindset.
Now, if that person changes their thinking to, I'm not good yet, but I can improve with practice, that's a growth mindset.
Yes, that small shift in thinking can change everything.
Let's break it down for our listeners. Here are 3 easy ways to build a growth mindset. Replace I can't with I can learn.
So instead of saying, I can't do public speaking, say, I can learn how to speak better. See mistakes as lessons.
Every mistake is a teacher. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, I failed. Celebrate small progress.
Even if you improve just 1%, it's still progress. Don't wait for big success to feel proud.
That's right. Growth is slow, but steady. And the more you believe you can grow, the more you actually will.
Also, surrounding yourself with people who have a growth mindset helps too. People who lift you up, not put you down.
Yes, positive energy is powerful. It helps you stay focused on growth, not fear.
So if you're listening right now and thinking, I always run from failure, just know this. You can change. You can train your mind just like a muscle.
And it starts with a simple thought. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way.
Beautiful. Let's keep growing together.
Okay, Julia, we've talked a lot about fear of failure and how to shift our mindset. But let's be honest, sometimes failure still happens.
Yes, it does. Even with the best mindset, we all fall down sometimes. The question is, how do we handle it?
Exactly. And the first step is to remember this. Failure doesn't mean it's the end.
Right. When something goes wrong, don't say, I'm a failure. Instead, say, this failed, but I can learn from it.
That's a powerful shift. So the second step is to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what went wrong? And what can I do better next time?
Yes, you don't have to blame yourself. Just take a moment, breathe, and learn.
Let me give a real example. A few years ago, I gave a public talk. I thought it went well, but later, someone told me I spoke too fast and was hard to understand.
Ouch, that must have hurt a bit.
It did. But instead of feeling bad for days, I listened to the feedback. And next time, I slowed down and spoke more clearly. I handled the failure by learning, not quitting.
That's such a good example. I also had a moment like that. I was part of a group project and I forgot to send my part on time. The whole team got delayed. I felt terrible.
So what did you do?
I apologized and I made sure to create a system to remind myself next time. That mistake helped me become more organized.
See? That's how we grow. So here are 3 simple steps for our listeners on how to handle failure. Feel it, but don't stay in it. It's okay to feel sad or disappointed. Just don't live there. Reflect and learn. Ask, what did I learn? Or, how can I improve? Try again with better tools. Use what you learned and take another step forward.
And remember, failure is feedback, not a final result.
Beautifully said. If you fall, it's not the end. It's a chance to grow stronger.
So, to our listeners, next time you fail, don't panic. Take a breath, reflect, and rise again.
Because every failure is just a stepping stone to success. All right, Julia, now it's time to get really practical. Let's give our listeners some simple, clear tips they can use to start overcoming the fear of failure today.
Yes, let's do it. These tips are easy to understand, but they can make a big difference if you practice them.
All right, here's the first one. Start small. Don't try to do everything at once. Take small steps.
Exactly. If you're afraid to speak English, don't give a speech. Just say one sentence to a friend. Then do it again tomorrow.
Yes? Tip number 2. Write down your fear. Sometimes, when we write our fear on paper, it feels smaller.
I love that one. You can ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? And what's the worst that could happen?
Right. Most of the time, we realize the fear isn't as big as we thought.
Okay, tip number 3, visualize success instead of failure. Close your eyes and imagine things going well.
That's so helpful. If you're going to a job interview, don't imagine yourself failing. Picture yourself smiling and speaking with confidence.
Yes, your mind listens to the pictures you create.
Here's tip number 4. Talk to someone you trust. Sometimes just saying your fear out loud makes it easier to deal with.
That's true. A good friend, a teacher, a mentor, someone who listens and encourages you.
Tip number 5. Reward yourself for trying, even if you fail. Trying is a win.
Yes, say to yourself, I did it, I tried. That's brave. Be proud of that.
So let's quickly repeat the 5 tips for our listeners. Start small. Write down your fear. Visualize success. Talk to someone. Reward effort, not just results.
These tips are simple, but they work if you use them again and again.
And the best part? You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be brave enough to take the next step.
Even a small step forward is better than standing still in fear.
Now that we've shared some tips to overcome fear, let's talk about something even more powerful. Daily habits that can help you build courage over time.
Yes, because courage isn't something you're born with. It's something you build step by step, day by day.
Exactly. So let's give our listeners a few small habits they can practice every day to become more confident and brave.
Okay, first habit. Do one small thing that scares you. It doesn't have to be big, just something a little outside your comfort zone.
Yes, like speaking one sentence in English to a new person, or asking a question in class.
Right, small actions build big courage.
Here's the second habit. Write down your wins every day. At the end of the day, write one thing you're proud of, even if it's small.
That's a great one. It helps you focus on progress instead of fear. Even if you just tried, that's a win.
Third habit, practice positive self-talk. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend.
Yes, instead of saying, I always mess up, say, I'm learning and I'm doing my best.
Fourth habit, read or listen to something inspiring. Podcasts, books, or even quotes can lift your spirit.
Exactly. Feeding your mind with positive messages gives you the strength to keep going.
So here's a quick list of daily habits to build courage. Do one small, brave thing. Write down your wins. Use kind self-talk. Listen to inspiration.
These habits are easy to start, and they make a big difference if you stick with them.
Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to act, even when you're afraid.
And these small habits help you take those steps with more strength each day.
Well, Julia, we've talked a lot today about fear of failure. What it is, how it affects us, and how to overcome it.
Yes, Jason. And I hope everyone listening knows one very important thing. You are not alone.
That's right. Everyone, yes, everyone, feels afraid to fail sometimes. Even people you think are confident.
Fear is a part of being human. It's normal. But it doesn't have to control you.
Remember, courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about taking action even when you feel afraid.
So, if you're scared right now, maybe about a new challenge or trying something different, know this, that fear is okay.
And it's a sign that you're about to grow.
Yes, growth comes when you step outside your comfort zone.
So here's a little challenge for our listeners. Take one small step today toward something you've been afraid to try.
It could be as simple as saying hello in English, writing your fears down, or trying something new.
And celebrate that step, because that step is your victory.
We believe in you. You have the power to overcome fear and reach your dreams.
Thank you for listening to Personal Growth Talks podcast. We hope this episode helps you face fear and move forward with courage.
See you next time. And remember, you are stronger than your fear.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we help you build your confidence and fluency in English one step at a time. I'm Jason, your host for today's episode, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Julia.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here again. We know that learning English can be a challenging journey, but we're here to make it easier, more fun, and less stressful for you.
That's right, Julia. And today, we're diving into a topic that I'm sure many of our listeners can relate to: how to overcome the fear of speaking English. So, if you've ever felt nervous, embarrassed, or even avoided speaking English altogether, this episode is for you.
Exactly. We'll talk about why this fear happens and, more importantly, share practical tips to help you feel more confident when speaking English. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools you need to face your fear head-on and start speaking with courage.
Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share this podcast with anyone who might find it helpful. Now, let's get started. So, let's start by understanding this fear. Julia, why do you think so many people feel scared to speak English?
That's a great question, Jason. One of the biggest reasons is the fear of making mistakes. Many learners worry that if they say something wrong, people will laugh at them or judge them.
Yes, and I've heard this from a lot of learners, too. They want to be perfect when they speak, but that pressure to be perfect actually makes them more nervous.
Exactly. And another reason is the fear of being misunderstood. Sometimes learners feel that their pronunciation or accent might confuse others, and that makes them hesitate to speak.
Right. There's also the fear of being compared to others, especially if you're learning in a group setting. People often think, what if I don't sound as good as the others? That comparison can really hold them back.
And let's not forget about past experiences. If someone has been corrected harshly or embarrassed while speaking English before, it can make them afraid to try again.
That's so true. These fears are very real, but here's the thing. We all make mistakes when we're learning something new, and that's completely okay.
Yes, fear is natural, but it doesn't have to stop you. The key is to understand that these fears are just part of the process. And the good news is, there are ways to overcome them, which we'll talk about shortly.
Exactly. So, if you're feeling this fear, know that you're not alone. Many English learners experience the same thing, and today we're going to help you move past it. Now that we understand why the fear of speaking English happens, let's talk about some practical strategies to overcome it. Julia, do you want to start with the first tip?
Of course. Tip number 1. Focus on communication, not perfection. Many learners think they have to speak perfectly, but that's not true. The goal of language is to communicate. Even if you make mistakes, people will usually understand you, and that's what really matters.
That's so important. I always tell learners, mistakes are proof that you're learning. In fact, making mistakes is one of the best ways to improve because you can learn from them.
Exactly. And that leads to tip number 2. Start small and practice daily conversations. You don't need to have long, complex conversations right away. Begin with simple things, like greeting someone in English or ordering food at a restaurant. Small wins build confidence.
That's a great point. Here's tip number 3. Use English in low-stress environments. For example, talk to yourself in English at home, describe what you're doing, or practice speaking in front of a mirror. You can also use language learning apps to practice without feeling judged.
I love that. And here's tip number 4. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to podcasts, watch movies or shows, and try to think in English. The more you immerse yourself, the more natural it will feel to speak.
Absolutely. Another powerful strategy is tip number 5. Practice positive self-talk. Often, the fear of speaking English comes from negative thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll embarrass myself." Replace those thoughts with positive ones like, "I'm learning and improving every day." Confidence starts in the mind.
That's so true. And tip number 6. Find a supportive environment to practice. It could be a language partner, an online community, or even a group class. Practicing with people who encourage you can make a huge difference.
Great advice, Julia. And one last tip. Celebrate your progress. No matter how small the achievement, acknowledge it. Every step forward is a step closer to fluency, and that's worth celebrating.
Yes, overcoming fear doesn't happen overnight, but with these strategies, you can take control and start feeling more confident one step at a time.
Exactly. Fear is just a barrier, but it's not permanent. With practice, patience, and the right mindset, anyone can overcome it. So, which of these tips are you excited to try first? Now, let's address some common questions or concerns that many English learners have about speaking confidently. Julia, here's a question I hear all the time. What if I make a mistake in public and people laugh at me? What would you say to that?
That's such a common worry, Jason. My advice would be this. Most people aren't paying as much attention as you think. If someone laughs, it's probably because they think the situation is funny, not because they're judging you, and honestly, making mistakes shows that you're brave enough to try.
That's a great point. I always tell learners to think of mistakes as opportunities. If someone corrects you, take it as a learning moment rather than a failure. It's all part of the process.
Exactly. Here's another question I've heard. How can I practice speaking English if I don't have anyone to talk to? What do you think, Jason?
Good question. If you don't have a partner, you can try talking to yourself in English. Describe your day, your plans, or even your thoughts. You can also record yourself speaking and listen back to improve. And don't forget about technology. Apps like language exchanges or even AI chatbots can be great practice tools.
Yes, and adding to that, listening to podcasts like this one and repeating phrases out loud can also help you practice. You don't always need a partner to build your skills.
Here's another common concern. What if I can't find the right words while speaking and I get stuck? Julia, how would you handle that?
That's a great question. First, it's okay to pause and take a moment to think. If you can't find the exact word, try using simpler words to explain what you mean. For example, instead of delicious, you could say a very tasty. The goal is to keep the conversation going.
Exactly. Pausing is natural. It happens even to native speakers. And here's a pro tip. If you're stuck, you can use phrases like, "How do you say this?" or "Let me rephrase that." It shows you're trying, and most people will appreciate your effort.
Absolutely. And remember, everyone has felt nervous or stuck at some point. The key is not to let those moments stop you from trying.
Great advice, Julia. If you're listening and have a question or concern we didn't cover, feel free to share it in the comments or send us a message. We'd love to help. All right, let's wrap things up with some actionable takeaways. Julia, let's give our listeners 3 simple steps they can start using today to overcome their fear of speaking English.
Absolutely. Step 1. Start small and practice daily. It could be as simple as saying a few sentences to yourself in English or using basic phrases in everyday situations. Remember, small consistent steps lead to big progress.
Great tip. Step 2. Focus on communication, not perfection. Your goal is to be understood, not to be perfect. Embrace mistakes as part of the learning journey and keep moving forward.
Exactly. And step 3. Find ways to immerse yourself in English. Listen to podcasts, watch videos, or join online communities where you can practice in a supportive environment. The more you expose yourself to English, the more confident you'll feel.
Those are fantastic steps, Julia. And remember, overcoming fear is a process. It takes time and effort, but it's definitely possible. The most important thing is to take action and keep practicing.
That's right. You've got this. Start small, be kind to yourself, and celebrate every bit of progress you make.
Well said, Julia. And that's it for today's episode. We hope these tips inspire you to take the next step in your English-speaking journey. That brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope you found these tips and strategies helpful in overcoming your fear of speaking English. Remember, confidence comes with practice and persistence, so don't give up.
Exactly, and if you have any questions, experiences, or tips of your own, we'd love to hear from you. Share them in the comments or reach out to us on social media. We're here to support you on your journey.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and share this episode with anyone who might benefit from it. Your support helps us create more content like this to help English learners around the world.
And if you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review or a thumbs up. It really motivates us to keep going and sharing more with you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, you're doing an amazing job.
We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, take care and happy learning.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we make learning English simple, fun, and effective. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're talking about a challenge that many of you might be facing: how to practice English without a partner. Whether you're just starting out or trying to improve your fluency, this episode is for you.
That's right, Jason. Hi everyone, I'm Julia, your co-host. You know, one of the biggest struggles English learners talk about is finding someone to practice with. It can feel lonely or even frustrating, but don't worry. We're here to show you that you don't actually need a partner to improve your English.
Exactly. In fact, practicing alone has its own set of benefits. We're going to share practical tips, tools, and techniques to help you build confidence, improve your skills, and have fun while learning. So, stick around till the end. You don't want to miss this.
Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and make sure to check out our playlist for more episodes like this. All right, Jason, are you ready to get started?
Absolutely, Julia. Let's talk about why practicing English alone is not only possible, but also super effective. Let's get started. All right, let's talk about why practicing English alone is so important. A lot of people think that, without a partner, it's impossible to make progress, but that's just not true. In fact, practicing alone can give you more control over your learning. For example, you can focus on the areas where you need the most improvement, whether that's pronunciation, vocabulary, or grammar.
Exactly, Jason. And you know, practicing alone also means you don't have to worry about making mistakes in front of others. You can take your time, repeat things as many times as you need, and learn at your own pace. That's a huge advantage, especially for beginners who might feel shy or nervous when speaking English.
Absolutely. Plus, when you're practicing alone, you develop self-discipline and consistency. Think about it. If you can stay motivated and make progress on your own, you're building a skill that will help you not just in English, but in other areas of your life, too.
That's a great point. And let's not forget that practicing English alone doesn't mean you're entirely isolated. There are so many resources available today, like apps, online videos, and podcasts, like this one. These tools act as your virtual practice partners, so you're never truly alone in your learning journey.
Exactly, Julia. And here's another thing. When you practice alone, you can create a routine that fits your lifestyle. Whether it's 10 minutes in the morning or an hour in the evening, you're in charge of your schedule. It's all about making English a natural part of your daily life.
Right. And remember, learning a language is like building a muscle. Even small, consistent efforts add up over time, so practicing alone isn't just important, it's actually a key part of becoming fluent.
Well said, Julia. So, for everyone listening, don't feel discouraged if you don't have a partner to practice with. You have everything you need to succeed right at your fingertips. In the next section, we're going to bust some common myths about practicing English alone, so stay tuned. Now, let's address some of the common myths about practicing English alone. There are so many misconceptions out there that stop people from making progress. One of the biggest myths is, you can't improve your speaking skills without a partner. Julia, have you heard this one before?
All the time, Jason. But here's the truth. While speaking with a partner can be helpful, it's not the only way to improve your speaking skills. There are so many techniques, like shadowing, where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say. It's almost like having a conversation, but you're practicing solo.
That's such a good point, Julia. Another myth I hear a lot is, practicing alone isn't effective because there's no one to correct your mistakes. What do you think about that one?
I get why people might feel that way, but it's not entirely true. While it's nice to have someone correct you, there are tools that can help. For example, apps like Grammarly or even voice recognition features on your phone can help you catch mistakes. And let's not forget, self-correction is a skill you can develop. The more you listen to yourself and compare it to native speakers, the better you'll get.
Exactly, Julia. And here's another myth that holds people back. Learning alone is boring or lonely. Now, I'll admit, practicing by yourself can feel a little monotonous sometimes, but there are ways to make it fun. What do you think, Julia?
Oh, definitely. You can turn your learning into a game. Use apps with gamified features, watch movies or TV shows in English, or even sing along to your favorite English songs. The key is to mix things up and find what excites you. Learning doesn't have to be boring at all.
Absolutely. And here's one final myth. You need to spend hours every day to see results. This one really discourages people, but it's so far from the truth. Even short, focused sessions of 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. It's all about consistency, not the length of time.
That's such an important point, Jason. It's better to practice a little every day than to overwhelm yourself with long sessions once a week. Remember, listeners, don't let these myths hold you back. Practicing alone is not only possible, but also incredibly effective when done the right way.
Exactly. And now that we've cleared up these misconceptions, it's time to get into the good stuff. Practical tips for practicing English alone. Let's dive into that next. All right, now it's time for the practical part of today's podcast. Let's dive into some effective tips that you can start using today to practice English alone. Julia, what's the first tip you'd recommend?
My first tip is to talk to yourself in English. This might sound a little funny, but it's incredibly helpful. You can narrate your day, describe what you're doing, or even have imaginary conversations. It's a great way to practice forming sentences and thinking in English.
That's a fantastic tip, Julia. Talking to yourself helps you get comfortable using the language, even if no one else is around. Another great tip is shadowing. This involves listening to a native speaker, maybe in a podcast or a movie, and repeating exactly what they say, trying to match their pronunciation, rhythm, and tone.
Yes, shadowing is such a powerful technique, and it's not just for pronunciation. It helps you get used to natural sentence structures and expressions. My next tip is to use recording. Record yourself speaking English, whether it's reading a paragraph or talking about your day. Then listen to the recording and identify areas you can improve. It's like being your own teacher. I love that one, Julia. And here's another tip. Read aloud. Grab an article, a book, or even a recipe, and read it out loud. This helps you work on your pronunciation, pacing, and intonation. Plus, it builds your confidence in speaking English. Absolutely. And don't forget about using technology. There are so many apps and tools out there. For example, you can use language learning apps like Duolingo or Babbel, or voice recognition features like those in Google Translate to check your pronunciation.
That's a great suggestion. And speaking of technology, another tip is to immerse yourself in English media. Watch English movies, listen to podcasts, or read blogs and articles in English. The key is to surround yourself with the language so it becomes a natural part of your daily routine.
Yes, immersion is so important. And here's a fun one. Use music. Sing along to your favorite English songs. It's a great way to practice pronunciation and rhythm, and it doesn't even feel like studying.
Great point, Julia. And for learners who like structure, creating a practice schedule can help. Set aside specific times each day to focus on different skills: speaking, listening, reading, or writing. Consistency is key.
Exactly. And don't forget to set goals. For example, aim to learn 5 new words a day or record yourself speaking for 3 minutes every morning. Having clear, achievable goals keeps you motivated and on track.
Those are all fantastic tips, Julia. So, for our listeners, remember that practicing English alone doesn't have to be overwhelming or boring. With these tips, You can make steady progress and enjoy the journey. In our next section, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts and encouragement. Stay with us. Now, let's talk about how you can incorporate listening and speaking exercises into your practice routine. These two skills are the foundation of good communication, and the best part is, you don't need a partner to work on them. Julia, why don't you start us off with a listening exercise?
Sure, Jason. One of my favorite exercises is active listening. This means listening to something in English, like a podcast, audiobook, or a YouTube video, and really focusing on the details. For example, try to catch key words, phrases, or even the speaker's tone. After listening, challenge yourself by summarizing what you heard in your own words. It's a great way to test your comprehension.
That's such a good exercise. And to add to that, you can use dictation exercises. Listen to a short audio clip and try writing down what you hear. Then, compare your notes with the original script or subtitles to see how accurate you were. This helps with both listening and spelling.
Exactly. And for speaking, a great exercise is role-playing. Pick a situation, like ordering food at a restaurant or introducing yourself at a meeting. Then practice speaking as if you're in that situation. You can even write down a script beforehand and use it as a guide.
Role-playing is a fantastic idea. Another speaking exercise I recommend is imitation practice. Choose a short video or audio clip featuring a native speaker. Play a sentence, pause, and then repeat it, trying to match the pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. This helps you sound more natural.
Yes, Jason. I also love the question and answer method. Write down a few questions in English and answer them out loud. For example, what's your favorite hobby? Or what did you do yesterday? This forces you to think in English and practice forming sentences on the spot.
That's such a practical exercise. And here's another one. Use voice assistants. Apps like Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant are perfect for practicing spoken English. Ask them questions, give commands, or have short conversations. They're surprisingly good at understanding different accents.
Great tip, Jason. And don't forget to practice listening for accents and dialects. Try listening to English speakers from different regions, like British, American, or Australian English. This will train your ear to understand various accents, which is incredibly useful in real-life conversations.
Absolutely, Julia. And for those who enjoy challenges, try combining listening and speaking exercises. For instance, after listening to a podcast, pause and try explaining the main points aloud as if you're teaching someone else. It's a great way to practice both skills simultaneously.
That's a great idea. Listeners, remember that these exercises don't require a lot of time, just consistency. Even 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference in your progress.
Exactly. And in our next section, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts and encouragement to keep you motivated. Stay tuned. Now, let's talk about creating a daily practice routine. One of the best ways to make consistent progress in English is by having a structured plan. Julia, why is a routine so important for language learners?
Great question, Jason. A routine helps you stay consistent, and consistency is key when learning a language. Even small daily efforts can add up to big improvements over time. Plus, having a routine makes learning less overwhelming because you know exactly what to do each day.
Exactly. So, let's break it down for our listeners. A daily routine doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Let's start with how they can organize their day. Julia, what would a simple routine look like for someone who only has 30 minutes a day?
Good point, Jason. If you have 30 minutes, you can divide it into 3 parts. Spend 10 minutes on listening, like watching a short video or listening to a podcast. Then take 10 minutes to practice speaking, maybe by repeating what you heard or talking about your day. Finally, use the last 10 minutes to focus on vocabulary or grammar.
That's a great breakdown, Julia. And for those with more time, they can add other activities like reading a short article or doing a writing exercise. For example, they could write a paragraph about their day or describe something they recently learned.
Exactly. Another tip is to use theme-based practice. Pick a topic for the day, like food, travel, or hobbies, and focus all your activities around it. For example, listen to a podcast about travel, learn travel-related vocabulary, and then practice speaking by imagining you're at an airport.
I love the idea of themes. And here's another important point. Set specific goals for each day. Instead of saying, "I'll practice English," say, "I'll learn 5 new words and use them in sentences," or "I'll record myself speaking for 2 minutes." Clear goals help you stay focused and motivated.
Yes, goals are so important, and don't forget to review what you've learned. At the end of each week, take 10 to 15 minutes to go over the vocabulary, phrases, or grammar points you practiced. This helps reinforce your learning.
Absolutely, Julia. And here's a bonus tip. Make it fun. Incorporate activities you enjoy, like watching your favorite TV shows in English or playing language learning games. The more enjoyable your routine, the more likely you are to stick with it.
That's so true, Jason. And one final thing, be realistic. Start small, especially if you're new to creating a routine. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. The key is to build the habit and gradually increase your practice time.
Great advice, Julia. Listeners, remember that your routine doesn't have to be perfect. The most important thing is to show up every day and keep practicing. In the next section, we'll share some final thoughts and encouragement to keep you going strong. Stay tuned. All right, as we wrap up, let's talk about something every language learner struggles with at some point: staying motivated and consistent. Julia, why do you think staying motivated is so challenging for many people?
That's a great question, Jason. I think it's because language learning is a long journey, and progress isn't always immediate. It's easy to feel discouraged when you don't see results right away, but the key is to remember that small daily efforts lead to big changes over time.
Absolutely. And staying consistent doesn't mean you'll never miss a day. It's about building a habit and not giving up even if you hit a rough patch. Julia, what are some ways our listeners can keep their motivation high? One of the best ways is to set clear, achievable goals. For example, instead of saying, "I want to speak English fluently," set smaller goals like, "I want to learn 10 new words this week," or "I'll practice speaking for 15 minutes every day." Achieving these smaller goals gives you a sense of progress.
One of the best ways is to set clear, achievable goals. For example, instead of saying, "I want to speak English fluently," set smaller goals like, "I want to learn 10 new words this week," or "I'll practice speaking for 15 minutes every day." Achieving these smaller goals gives you a sense of progress.
Great point. I'd add that celebrating your achievements, no matter how small, is also important. Did you finally understand a whole conversation in a movie? Celebrate it. Did you speak a few sentences in English without pausing? That's worth celebrating too.
Yes. And another tip is to remind yourself why you're learning English in the first place. Maybe it's for a better job, to travel, or to connect with new people. Keep that reason in mind whenever you feel like giving up.
Exactly. I also recommend mixing things up to keep learning fun. Try new activities, explore different resources, or switch up your routine. For example, if you've been practicing vocabulary, take a break and watch a funny English video or listen to a song instead.
That's a great idea, Jason. And here's another tip. Find a way to track your progress. Use a journal or an app to record what you learn each day. Over time, you'll be amazed at how far you've come, and that can be a huge motivation boost.
Definitely, Julia. And let's not forget the power of a positive mindset. It's okay to make mistakes. They're part of the learning process. Instead of saying, "I'm bad at this," say, "I'm getting better every day." A positive attitude can make a huge difference.
Absolutely, Jason. And finally, surround yourself with English. Even if you're practicing alone, you can immerse yourself by reading, listening, and thinking in English as much as possible. The more exposure you have, the more natural it will feel.
Great advice, Julia. To all our listeners, remember, motivation comes and goes, but consistency is what brings results. Keep showing up and don't be afraid to try new things. You've got this.
Exactly. And we're here to support you every step of the way. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we hope you found today's tips helpful. See you in the next episode.
Until then, happy learning and stay consistent. Bye for now. Hey everyone! Welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast, where we make English simple, fun, and useful for your daily life. I'm Jason, your host.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so glad you're here with us today. If you've ever wanted to sound more natural when you speak English, today's episode is just for you.
That's right. Today we're talking about something super cool and super useful. Idioms. More specifically, 50 daily routine idioms that native speakers use all the time in real life.
Now, if you're wondering, what is an idiom? Don't worry. An idiom is a group of words with a meaning that's different from the literal words. Like when we say hit the sack, it doesn't mean hitting a real sack. It means going to bed.
Exactly. And idioms are everywhere in English. You hear them in movies, in songs, in conversations with friends. If you don't understand them, it can be really confusing. But once you do, it's like unlocking a secret code.
And the best part is, today's idioms are all related to daily routines, from waking up in the morning to going to bed at night, so you'll be able to use them right away in your everyday life.
So, get ready to laugh, learn, and level up your English. We're going to share real examples, role plays, and even give you a fun listener challenge at the end.
Let's not waste any more time. Shall we jump into our first section?
Let's do it. First up, what are idioms and why use them in daily conversations? So, before we dive into the idioms themselves, let's take a moment to understand what idioms are and why they matter in daily English.
Right. Like we said earlier, an idiom is a phrase where the meaning isn't clear just by looking at the words. It's like a shortcut to expressing something in a colorful or cultural way.
For example, if I say, "I'm feeling under the weather," I don't mean the weather is on top of me. I just mean I'm not feeling well.
Exactly. Idioms help you sound more natural. Just like a native speaker. Native English speakers use idioms all the time without even thinking about it.
And here's the thing. If you only learn textbook English, you might understand grammar and vocabulary, but you could still feel lost in real conversations. Idioms fill that gap.
That's so true. Imagine someone invites you to dinner and says, "Let's grab a bite." If you don't know that idiom, you might be confused. But it simply means, let's eat something.
Another reason idioms are important is that they make your speech more expressive. Instead of saying, "I'm very tired," you could say, "I'm beat." It's short, casual, and native-like.
Also, idioms often reflect culture. They show you how people in English-speaking countries think or view the world. Learning them is a fun way to understand not just the language, but the people too.
That's a great point. And don't worry, learning idioms doesn't have to be hard. In today's episode, we're focusing on daily routine idioms, ones you can start using immediately. That's what makes them easier to remember.
So instead of memorizing a big list, just listen closely, imagine the situations, and try using a few today. We'll even role-play some examples to help you hear them in context.
All right, are you ready for our first group of idioms? These ones are all about the morning routine.
Let's get into it. Rise and shine.
Haha, that's actually our first idiom. All right, let's start the day, literally, with some idioms that you can use in your morning routine. These are phrases you might hear or use from the moment you wake up.
Yes, morning idioms are so common. You'll probably recognize some of these once we explain them. Let's go through 10 of them. Nice and easy. 1. Rise and shine.
Rise and shine means wake up and get ready for the day, often used in a cheerful way.
Right. Parents might say, "Come on, kids, rise and shine. Time for school." 2. Hit the snooze button. This is a modern one. It means to delay waking up by using the snooze function on your alarm.
Like, I hit the snooze button 3 times this morning. I was so tired. 3. Sleep in. To sleep in means to sleep later than usual, often on weekends.
Example. I love to sleep in on Sundays. No alarm clock. 4. Wake up on the wrong side of the bed. This idiom means to wake up feeling grumpy or in a bad mood.
Don't talk to him yet. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. 5. Freshen up. To freshen up means to wash your face, brush your teeth, or get ready quickly.
You might say, "I'm just going to freshen up before breakfast." 6. Clear your head. This idiom means to feel more awake or think clearly, often after coffee or a shower.
Like, I need a walk to clear my head. It's too early to think. 7. Jumpstart your day. Jumpstart your day means to begin your morning with energy or a good habit.
Example. A cup of coffee always jumpstarts my day. 8. In a daze, this means you're still sleepy or confused right after waking up.
I walked to the kitchen in a daze and forgot why I was there. Happens to me all the time. 9. Hit the ground running. This idiom means to start something quickly and energetically, like your work or morning.
I had so many emails today, I had to hit the ground running. 10. Get into the swing of things. This one means to get used to a routine or schedule after a slow start.
Mondays are hard, but I get into the swing of things by 10 a.m.
And there you go. 10 morning idioms you can use every day. Try saying a few of them tomorrow morning when you wake up.
You'll sound more natural and confident in your conversations. And don't worry if you don't remember them all right away. We'll keep repeating them in examples and role plays later.
All right, coming up next, we're heading to work or school with our next group, Work and School Routine Idioms. Don't miss it.
All right, we've freshened up, had our coffee, and now it's time to head to work or school. This next group of idioms is all about what happens during your day when you're working or studying.
Yes, these idioms are perfect for anyone with a busy schedule. Whether you're a student, an employee, or just juggling daily tasks, these phrases are super common. 1. On the ball. If someone is on the ball, it means they're alert, focused, and doing their job well.
Example: Wow, you answered that question fast. You're really on the ball today. 2. Learn the ropes. This means to learn how to do a job or task properly, especially when you're new.
It's my first week. I'm still learning the ropes. 3. Under pressure. To be under pressure means to feel stressed because of a deadline or task.
I have to finish this project by 5. I'm really under pressure today. 4. beat the clock. This idiom means to finish something just before the deadline.
We submitted the assignment just in time. We beat the clock. 5. Hit the books. Hit the books means to study hard.
I have an exam tomorrow. I need to hit the books tonight. 6. Pick it up quickly. If someone picks something up quickly, it means they learn fast.
She started last week, but she's already picked it up quickly. 7. Speak up. To speak up means to talk louder or share your opinion.
Don't be shy in class. Speak up and share your ideas. 8. Get the hang of it. This means to become comfortable with doing something new.
At first it was confusing, but now I'm getting the hang of it. 9. Back to the grind. Back to the grind means returning to work or a routine after a break.
Vacation's over. Back to the grind. 10. Stay on top of things. If you stay on top of things, you're organized and managing your tasks well.
She's always on time and never forgets anything. She really stays on top of things. These idioms are super useful for anyone who works or studies. They'll make your conversations smoother and more natural.
And remember, don't try to learn all of them at once. Just pick 2 or 3 and try using them during your next day at school or work.
Next up, we're taking a break. Literally. Let's look at some idioms for lunchtime and breaks.
All right, we've been working hard or studying hard, so now it's time for one of the best parts of the day, lunch break.
Yes. Let's look at 5 common idioms people use when they're taking a break, eating lunch, or relaxing in the middle of a busy day. 1. Grab a bite. This means to eat something quickly, usually something small.
I only have 15 minutes. I'm just going to grab a bite. Super common, right?
Definitely. Native speakers say this all the time. 2. Chew the fat.
Now this one sounds funny. Chew the fat means to chat casually or gossip during a break.
We sat in the break room and chewed the fat for a while. It just means talking in a relaxed way. 3. Take 5. To take 5 means to take a short break, like 5 minutes.
We've been working non-stop. Let's take 5 and then continue. 4. Coffee break. This one's simple. Coffee break means a short pause from work to rest or have coffee.
I'll answer that email after my coffee break. And no, you don't have to drink coffee. It's just the name. 5. Recharge your batteries. This idiom means to rest and regain energy, just like charging your phone.
A weekend at home really helped me recharge my batteries. I think we all need that sometimes.
So there you go. 5 great idioms to use during your lunch break or anytime you need a little rest.
And guess what? Learning idioms doesn't have to be all work and no play. Next, we're going to look at afternoon and productivity idioms, those little expressions that help describe how we stay on track during the second half of the day. All right, lunch is over, the break is done, and it's time to get back to it. The afternoon is when we need to stay productive, even when we're feeling a little sleepy.
Exactly. So here are 5 idioms that describe how we manage energy, focus, and tasks during the afternoon part of our day. 1. Get back into the swing of things. This idiom means to return to your usual routine or rhythm, especially after a break.
It took me a few minutes to get back into the swing of things after lunch. 2. Stay on track. To stay on track means to keep working according to your plan or schedule.
Even with distractions, I stayed on track and finished my tasks. 3. Lose track of time. This one means to become so focused or distracted that you forget the time.
I was writing emails and totally lost track of time. Happens a lot. Power through means to keep working hard, even when you're tired or bored.
I wanted to nap, but I powered through the last 2 hours at work. 5. Call the shots. This idiom means to be in control or to make important decisions.
In the afternoon meeting, the manager was clearly calling the shots. A great one for workplace conversations.
These idioms can help you describe your energy levels, focus, and even your authority at work or school.
Coming up next, it's time to wind down the day with some evening routine idioms. Some of my favorites. All right, the sun's going down and the workday is finally over. Now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the day. Evening routines.
Yes, this is when we relax, unwind, and get ready to rest. And of course, there are tons of idioms for this part of the day, too. Let's go through 10 idioms you might hear or use in the evening. 1. Call it a day. This means to stop working for the day.
We've done enough. Let's call it a day. It's a polite and common way to end your work. 2. Hit the sack, o'i traffi twern. Hit the hay. These two idioms mean the same thing, to go to bed.
I'm exhausted. I'm going to hit the sack. So much more fun than just saying sleep. 3. Wind down. This means to relax and slowly end your day.
I like to wind down by reading a book or watching a movie. 4. Call it a night. Similar to call it a day, but used more often when ending your night activities.
It's late. Let's call it a night and go home. 5. Pig out. This one's funny. Pig out means to eat a lot, often during dinner or while watching TV.
I totally pigged out on pizza last night. No shame. 6. Kick back. To kick back means to relax and take it easy.
After work, I just want to kick back with a cold drink. 7. Tune out. This means to stop paying attention or ignore something, like turning off your brain.
I just tune out and listen to music after a long day. 8. Binge watch. To binge watch means to watch many episodes of a show in one sitting.
I binge-watched an entire season of my favorite series last night. 9. Burn the midnight oil. This one means to stay up late working or studying.
I had a deadline, so I had to burn the midnight oil. Great for students or busy professionals. 10. Sleep on it. To sleep on it means to wait until the next day before making a decision.
I'm not sure if I should accept the offer. I'll sleep on it. So now you've got 10 idioms you can use during your evening or nighttime routine. These will make your English sound relaxed and real.
Absolutely. And even if you only remember 1 or 2 today, that's great. Use them naturally in your evening conversations or journal.
Next up, we're looking at weekend or leisure time idioms, perfect for your days off.
All right, we've made it through the work week and evening routines. Now it's time for some fun. Let's talk about weekend and leisure time idioms.
Yes! These idioms are perfect for when you're relaxing, socializing, or just doing something you enjoy. Let's go over 5 of the most common ones. 1. Paint the town red. This means to go out and have a fun, exciting night, usually with friends.
It's Friday night. Let's paint the town red. Sounds fun, right? 2. Netflix and chill. This modern idiom means to relax and watch movies or TV shows, usually at home.
I'm not going out this weekend. I just want to Netflix and chill. Simple and popular. 3. Take it easy. To take it easy means to relax and not do anything stressful.
It's the weekend. I'm just going to take it easy and rest. 4. Let your hair down. This idiom means to relax and have fun, especially after being serious all week.
You've been working hard. Go out and let your hair down. 5. Catch up on sleep. This means to sleep more than usual because you didn't get enough rest earlier in the week.
I'm going to catch up on sleep this weekend. I've been exhausted.
Weekends are the perfect time to use these idioms, whether you're staying home or going out with friends.
And now that we've covered work, school, and weekends, how about we bring it all together in a fun way?
Coming up next, a role play called A Day in the Life Using Idioms. Get ready to hear these phrases in real conversation. Yawns, I totally hit the snooze button like 3 times this morning.
Ha ha. Same here. I finally got up around 7. Had to rise and shine because I had an early meeting.
I was totally in a daze while brushing my teeth. Didn't even remember if I used shampoo or not.
Oh no, I managed to grab a bite before leaving. Just a quick sandwich. You?
Nah, skipped breakfast. I'll pig out later tonight to make up for it.
Once I got to work, I had to hit the ground running. Emails, calls, meetings. You know the drill.
Yeah, I saw. You were totally on the ball in that morning meeting. Me? I'm still trying to get the hang of the new software.
Don't worry, you'll pick it up quickly. Took me a few days, too. At lunch, want to chew the fat in the break room?
Sure, I need to take 5 and recharge my batteries. It's been a long week.
Same. And don't forget, the manager's calling the shots on that client project, not us. So no stress.
Good point. After work, I'm just gonna kick back, maybe binge watch that new series. What about you?
Might go out and paint the town red, or maybe just Netflix and chill. Depends how I feel after dinner.
Sounds good. Just don't burn the midnight oil again. You looked so tired yesterday.
Ha ha! True. I'll call it a night early. Big day tomorrow.
Yep, let's call it a day here too. Catch you tomorrow.
Later, Julia!
And that's how you can use idioms in everyday conversations, naturally and smoothly.
It's all about listening, practicing, and making them part of your daily English.
Next, we'll share some tips on how to learn and practice idioms in real life. So stick around.
All right. Now that we've heard so many idioms and even practiced them in conversation, let's talk about how you can actually learn and practice idioms in your own life.
Yes, idioms can seem tricky at first, but with the right habits, you'll get better and better every day.
Tip number 1. Use idioms in your daily conversations. Even if it's just with yourself, try saying, I'm going to hit the sack early tonight, or I need to get back into the swing of things. It makes a huge difference.
Tip 2. Write a journal or short diary entry using idioms. For example, write about your day and include a few idioms you learned. It helps your brain remember them.
Tip 3. Listen to native speakers, podcasts, movies, TV shows, and even YouTube videos. When you hear an idiom, pause and think about what it means in that context.
Another great tip is to use flashcards or apps designed for idioms. You can review and quiz yourself anytime, even on the go.
And finally, don't worry about making mistakes. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Native speakers love it when learners try idioms. They know you're serious about your English.
Exactly. Practice a few idioms each day, and soon you'll be using them without even thinking.
That's it for our tips. Ready for a fun challenge to test what you've learned?
Coming up next, Listener Challenge. Use 5 idioms today.
All right, listeners, it's challenge time. We want you to use at least 5 idioms from today's episode in your conversations or writing. Today.
That's right. Pick any 5 idioms that you like or feel comfortable with. You can use them when talking with friends, practicing English with a partner, or even in your diary.
Here are a few easy examples to get you started. I'm going to hit the sack early tonight. Or I need to grab a bite before my meeting. Simple, right?
If you're feeling brave, try using an idiom in a message or a post on social media. You might be surprised how much fun it is, and how many people will understand you.
And don't worry if you don't get it perfect. Practice makes progress. The more you use idioms, the more natural your English will sound.
Let us know how it goes. Share your favorite idioms or sentences with us in the comments or on our social media.
We can't wait to hear from you. Good luck, and have fun with your idioms today.
That wraps up today's episode on 50 daily routine idioms in real English.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time for more fun English learning. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed learning these idioms and feel ready to use them in your daily English.
Remember, mastering idioms takes time and practice, so be patient with yourself. Even using a few idioms regularly will make your English sound more natural and confident.
Keep listening, keep practicing, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every step you take is a step forward on your English learning journey.
And most importantly, have fun. Language is a tool to connect with others and express yourself. Idioms add color and personality to your speech.
Thanks so much for spending your time with us today. If you liked this episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends.
We'll see you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Until then, keep shining and keep speaking English.